are like, hey guys, we're finally back, and we're here for the first time at Carowinds in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep, and this is a place that me and Annie have been wanting to go to for a long time now. It's definitely I mean, the biggest reason is right over here, over here, over there, and all around us. It's the only Fury 325. What many enthusiasts consider to be one of the best coasters in the world, and it's actually one of the best steel coaster by the Golden Ticket Awards for the past 4 years.
I think for 4 or 5 years, but I'm not positive. I know just won it again recently.
Yeah, so it's definitely a coaster worth riding, and definitely something. It's definitely one that I am excited to get on, as well as all the other amazing coasters that Carowinds it has, like Afterburner, the Intimidator, as well as a few stinkers, but we'll get to those at a later point.
But for right now, we'll see you in the park and check out the new intro.
Alright, we're right in front of where their former whitewater rapid ride used to be, Rip Roaring Rapids, which was just a whitewater rapid ride similar to the Whitewater Canyon at Kings Island.
Or Thunder Canyon if your home park is Cedar Point.
Yeah, well, so it's just a way to get wet. But since that's gone, from what we've heard, Carowinds does not have a form of a flume ride or whitewater rapids ride at this point, which down in the Carolinas it gets very hot and humid in the summer, which we're definitely going to be experiencing. And because the forecast has said that for this weekend it's going to be in the low 90s today, mid 90s tomorrow, so we're going to be in for a really hot and humid trip.
Yes, we have been warned by multiple people that during this time of year it does get really hot in the Carolinas, so to be safe, bring sunscreen and hydrate a lot.
Yep. All right, here's something that's cool. It's a pathway that has some growth over it. It's just a bunch of vines and stuff, but it definitely looks like it would provide a decent amount of shade. So it's definitely something worth cool. Like we mentioned earlier, it gets pretty hot down here in the Carolinas, so definitely having plenty of places that are shady is definitely a must. Anything?
Nope.
Yeah, well, as well as you do get some good shots of some of the other coasters, you got a great view of Fury's Lift Hill from this point in the park, as well as you can just barely see it, but you also can see a little bit of the drop on the hurler, as well as if we pan and a little bit to the left and did move it a little out of the way, you just get a great shot of a lot of pain. Vortex is the red coaster. In front of us is their stand-up coaster, and behind it is what we heard is the worst of the three now two Flying Dutchman's, Nighthawk, which we're about to get on both. We're going to get on both of them while we're down here. We're actually working our way towards Vortex right now, and we're going to get on Nighthawk tomorrow. So we are getting on it, but we are very. But it's just going to be a once you get the credit, and that's it. So we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we just got off Vortex, and we just had an amazing, interesting thing. We were the only ones on the train.
Yep. Second, well, not on the same Vortex. The other one was Vortex at Kings Island during Coaster Stock, which, by the way, anyone watching at Coaster Stock or after, live from Carowinds.
Well, right now, as for the ride itself, it actually was a lot smoother than I was anticipating. I was expecting this thing to be nothing but miserable and painful. But it does have some half decent G's, though, but not so much that you get pushed down into the seat. This is not my first stand-up coaster. This is actually my third one, and all I can say is just if you ever find yourself on a stand-up coaster, just squat a little bit when you're doing the restraints, and then just try to keep your legs as straight as possible on the ride, and for you guys, you won't get any nut smashing thing as a result. But the only big gripe is it did not age well. It has not aged well. It has a pretty strong rattle, and I can say that with some confidence.
Yep, I felt the rattle too, but I mean, the original Vortex at Kings Island was rough, so I'm kind of used to it.
Yep. Well, anyway, we're heading further back into the park to try to get on some more rides. All right, and stay tuned because once we get to a point, we have a little surprise waiting for the viewers. Yeah, this is a neat one. Race your gator at Alligator Alley. I don't know what that is. I think it sounds like it might be a mini golf course, not mini golf, go-kart track or something. Don't quote on me on that because I'm just speculating. We're now about to get on Ricochet, their Wild Mouse ride, which looks a little different, but similar but different to the one at King's Dominion, which I have been on once, so I'm a little excited to get on it. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, we just got off of Ricochet, and I must say, it's actually a surprisingly intense ride.
It's my first Wild Mouse, not a Zamperla one, a regular like the spinning Wild Mouse they have at the Columbus Zoo. This one's my actual original Wild Mouse credit.
Yep. Well, in terms of the actual ride, the best thing I can just say is prepare for laterals.
Yes, like all wild mice, they have lateral G's.
Yeah. And some of those laterals are pretty strong. It feels like you're about to get thrown sideways. So it's definitely something to you just need to brace for and just be ready for on those turns. So otherwise, you're just going to get thrown sideways before you know it. And another thing to keep in mind is that, well, on the first part where it's just switchbacking back and forth, is that the laterals just keep increasing. There's no trims until the very end of it, so the laterals just keep building up further and further and further until you hit those brakes, and then you get one more strong one, and then it's a gradual turnaround, and then it's less focus on laterals and more on some nice little floater airtime. But all around, I say it definitely is a fun family ride.
Yep.
So we're now heading around to see what else is open. There's a few rides that I've noticed that are not open yet. Carolina Cyclone is one of them. We've been here for a few minutes and we still have yet to see a single train test on it. So I don't even know if it's open. And so, yeah, we'll wander around to try to get on some more rides and roller coasters, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we were just outside the Carolina Gold Rusher, which actually is one of their few original coasters still standing.
actually the only ones that open with the park.
And so it definitely is it's definitely a historical roller coaster, as well as it does have a little history, because if I remember correctly, it's themed into something that happened back in the 1600s, if my history is right, because initially the Carolinas were established because of gold, because the promise of gold, and which I think they did eventually find some, but not a lot, not like out in California, and most certainly not like in South America. So it's definitely something to look. So, but as for the coaster itself, it's just your classic Aero mine train from what I've seen. So we're about to get on it, and we'll see you in a few minutes. California, most certainly not like in South America. So. Alright, we just got off of the Carolina Gold Rusher, and I must say that was actually a really good family ride. It's not as forceful. It's not the most forceful mine train I've ever been on. That I have to say at this point is Adventure Express at Kings Island, but it definitely has some pretty forceful moments. There's a couple moments on the roller coaster where you're pretty much held at a 45-degree angle, so you feel like you're about to be dumped. It's pretty fun. It's just all around, as well as it has a really forceful helix. It's not as forceful as some other roller coasters, looking at you, Beast, but it's definitely forceful. You got anything to add?
I have to say that of all the mine trains I've ridden, Aero mine trains I've ridden so far, this is by far my favorite.
Yeah, I would say, personally, I would say I like the Adventure Express more just because it is pretty forceful, but I would say it's right in the middle between the other two that I've been on, which is, again, Adventure Express and the Cedar Creek Mine Train up at Cedar Point. So we're now heading further back into the park. We're probably going to be hitting the Carolina Cobras next, and we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, we're about to get on the Flying Cobra. It's a classic Vekoma boomerang. What I mean by classic is not like the invertigo models where you're underneath, or the giant Vekoma boomerangs, which are, again, you're underneath the tracks. This thing is just more or less has terrain similar to an Aero corkscrew or a Vekoma's equivalent. I can't think of what it's called off the back of my head.
SLC.
Not the SLC. They have a corkscrew model.
Well, MK1200.
Yeah, that's it. The MK1200. And from what I heard, this thing has a much more comfortable restraint, so it might be a pretty fun ride. But I'm still going to be skeptical about it because I've heard that these things can still get pretty rough. So we're about to get on it, and we'll see you in a minute. Alright, we just got off of the Flying Cobras, and I must say, this thing is just freaking nuts. It's a boomerang, so there's a lot of them, but I would say with those restraints, it's definitely a really comfortable and very good ride. I mean, I can see with the older restraints on like the boomerang on the Cobra roll, it could be a really nasty headbanging experience. But with those best restraints where it's impossible for you to get any form of headbanging, it's really a pretty fun ride and very forceful.
And with all due respect to Invertigo at our home park, Kings Island, we have to say sorry. We have a new favorite Vekoma now.
Yep. Well, we're now going to head further back into the park and to try to get on some more rides, and we'll see you in a little bit.
As a side note, we forgot to mention that on this spot was not where the Flying Cobras was the whole time. There used to be a prototype coaster here called the Flying Super Saturator when Nickelodeon was here at Carowinds.
Yeah, and if you guys would ever play Planet Coaster, or that was the Planet Coaster RCT 3 or Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. That was the small roller coaster that you could build that mainly just went around as you could make it go around a circle, and dump water on people, which I think it actually did. You could soak people on underneath you.
Yep, but of course it didn't last too long. It was because of maintenance costs and because of very low rider capacity.
Yep. Oh, you see, we're going to check out more of the park, and we'll also keep you updated on any other fun facts as well. If we are in an area where there's something worth mentioning, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, if you look at where we are, we're just outside Copperhead Strike, and just right off the bat, the sign. I would say that's probably the most themed sign I have ever seen of any Cedar Fair park. Any Cedar Fair roller coaster. They really went out of their way on this one, and definitely a fun ride. And I remember when back on my Coaster Factory Acts, this thing for Copperhead Strike, it looked like it was going to be a really fun ride. And from what I've been told, it's definitely one ride that has gotten a lot of praise. Thanks for just having some nice quick transitions. Not too much in terms of airtime. Not much in terms of airtime. I'm just had a couple good pops of floater and ejector. But it's all around is a good ride. Just not super. It's forceful, but it's not super forceful. And it's definitely a ride worth riding. And now we're about ready to get on it, and we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, we are unable to get on Copperhead Strike at the moment because I've somehow lost my wallet, so we cannot afford lockers right now. So at the meantime, we're going to get on Carolina Cyclone on an Aero corkscrew custom or big corkscrew model. But and also it's a historical coaster because it was the first coaster to feature 4 inversions. Yep, it's Vortex's big brother. Or in this case, it might be more appropriately little brother because it's significantly smaller. Yep, if you rode corkscrew at Cedar Point or Knott's Berry Farm, is somewhat similar. Of course, the one at Knott's is at Silverwood now, so. Yep. All right, we're about to get on it, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we just got off of Carolina Cyclone, and let's say it's actually a surprisingly forceful ride. Alright, you just go through those loops so quickly, it's crazy. As well as the double corkscrew, it's also pretty fun. It's pretty fun part, although in between them on that turnaround, I would say it does get a little jerky. Same thing with the helix. There's a couple of jerky moments after the corkscrew going into the helix. But other than that, I say it's a pretty fun small coaster. I can say I love Aero. For those of us who've watched us since we started, you all know that I love Aero coasters. So it's on my list for my top 5 favorite Aeros. Also, a fun little fact. They recently got new trains, and the trains that they got now are the trains that used to be on the Vortex at Kings Island. In fact, it's only been a couple years but at this point, you can actually start seeing some of the Vortex blue showing through it. Yep, there's a little on some of the paint. There's little paint chips on the train, and there's a little bit of Vortex blue popping out. Not to mention, you said they just painted over the triangular decal for Vortex. Yep. So right now we're about to get on the hurler, and you'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, we just got off a hurler, and I must say it was definitely a fun ride. As well as I don't remember too much of a difference between this one and the hurler at King's Dominion. Now I've heard that the one at Dominion was actually comparably worse, but again, even though I do have the hurler at Dominion as one of my credits, I vividly remember it because I only rode it once, maybe twice. So, but from what I can tell, I think this one I can see both this one and the hurler don't really at the Dominion don't have, or both have, probably has similar problems. This one is just less obvious. It just has a rattle, and ultimately its layout is fairly boring. It has, I mean, yes, it has some really good airtime hills and a decent drop, but that's about it. It has these long meandering turns. And one of the turns in particular does, I think it's the fourth turn, the last turn that the rattle is a little more obvious. As well as the second turn is also the turn's pretty obvious as well. So it definitely is rough. But even though I don't say this is one of my better coasters, it is still far from a bad coaster. It's in the middle, it's a middle of the road roller coaster for me. Right? Say anything?
Nope. I'm in the middle. It's just like John said. It's just okay. It's just in the middle.
Yeah. Well, we're now going to walk around a little bit more. Let's try to get on some more rides, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we just got off Copperhead Strike, and I'm gonna say I still stand by my statement. This was the best roller coaster for the 2019 season. It was, well, the best new coaster for the 2019 season. Best coaster period for the 2019 season is still on the other side of the park. All right, but anyway, back to Copperhead Strike. This thing was just insane. It had lots of very forceful positive, negative lateral. It's just a G-force machine. But the thing that really stands out on this thing in terms of the forces is its hang time. Yeah, that thing it just has lots of really good hang time.
Yep, it is my new favorite, my favorite coaster here. We have yet to ride Fury, but that'll happen eventually while we're here.
Yeah. Well, while we're still in front of there, so a few things I do say about it as well that's not related to the ride. Well, first, one last thing about the ride is that on that cover on its rare element, the JoJo roll. That thing gave you so much hang time. You felt you were like it was about to dump you, which was definitely something was better than the one at the other roller that I've been on that featured the JoJo Hydra at Dorney Park, which, because of its over shoulder restraints, you more or less are sitting on your shoulders for the most part. While this thing, because of the lap bar, you were completely free, and you just got a lot more hang time as a result. Now the other thing is not really much related to coaster is their quote unquote barn or anyways the shed. It's more or less how you do the shed right. I'm guessing that Cedar Fair must have learned from Mystic Timbers to not overhype something like that. And if you're going to hype it up, make sure it's something that's worth remembering. You agree about that statement?
Yep. But we're gonna go probably get on Afterburn next. We'll see it when we get over there.
All right, we are about to get on Afterburn, and from what I can tell, that they're keeping a lot of the Top Gear theming intact. Top Gun feeling intact. Sorry, Top Gun. So I'm pretty excited. Anyway, there's something on the side of the jet. It says 420. I don't know if that's a reference to Top Gun or like that could have been the call number. Maybe that was the call number for Maverick's plane. I mean, that's the only thing I could think. But anyway, we're going over. All right, we just got Afterburn, and I must say that was an impressive roller coaster. It was an insanely forceful ride. We got in the very back end, and it just got a lot of pull over. It was just crazy, especially on the bat wing.
I liked it better than Banshee personally. Also, we're hanging out with a couple other YouTubers today, from the guys from M&N Amusement. How you doing? Well, we're going to wander around the park a little bit more.
with them and try to maybe even get a few rides possibly. But anyway, just a couple more things about Afterburner. I definitely say with all the inverts I've been on, I would have to say it's probably one of the better. I wouldn't say like Andy here who thinks better than Banshee. I wouldn't go that far. I would say it's probably between, in my opinion, between Talon at Dorney Park and Raptor at Cedar Point. It's a really forceful ride, but it's just really short. That's the big issue. I got it with it. They could have dragged out a little bit more, and I definitely would have had a really good standout invert. Now we're going to run around a little bit more, maybe get on a couple more rides, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we're about to get on Intimidator. There's the Dale Earnhardt themed roller coaster down in Carowinds. Now, I would say there are some similarities to the one up at Dominion, Intimidator 305, which I've been on at this point. So just the NASCAR theme is everywhere for starters. It looks like it also tell you what to do as you're in the queue. Start your engine. And I'm a little excited to see, because I've heard this is a decent being hyper, but as well as I heard some bad thing about it, it is because of bad trim brakes. That's why it's gotten the nickname the Intimidator. We'll be getting on it in a few minutes, and we'll see it. We'll tell you about how it is afterwards. All right, we just got off of Intimidator, and I must say that was actually a pretty good hyper coaster. Just it's not as good as Diamondback as I thought, but pretty darn close.
I have to say it's really close to beating Diamondback, but I like Intimidator a little bit more than Diamondback though, but just by this much.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty similar rides. Anyway, we're about to get on Carowinds' version of Flying Ace Aerial Chase, Kitty Hawk.
Yes. Kitty Hawk.
Which these things are, which is pretty much the exact same thing as the Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Kings Island, a small Vekoma SFC, and it's the older one, not the newer one. So we're expecting headbanging.
But it might not be as bad, so we'll have to see.
Yep. Okay, we just got off Kitty Hawk, and I did have one word. Ow!
Yep. It was a little bit worse than Flying Ace at King Island.
Yeah. I say a lot worse. I mean, the Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Kings Island, there was a couple of jerky moments, but it's mostly just hard route. This thing, it's like rocks in a blender.
So we recommend that you ride with caution on this one, just to say, just for anyone that is planning on coming to Carowinds in the future, or if you're watching this in the future. So yeah.
Okay, now we're heading into Camp Snoopy. We may get one more roller coaster. Get some more roller coasters here. Although at this point, I wouldn't be too surprised if we could get everything in one day, because it's only around 4 o'clock and the park is still open for another 4 hours. So it is possible.
Yeah.
But first we're going to just get rehydrate, because again, it's just humid.
Yes.
And we'll see you in a little bit. All right, we just got off Woodstock Express, and I would just say, same nice little coaster, different park.
I don't know if it's the same layout as the one at our home park, Kings Island. So, but it's still a nice wooden family coaster. Yep.
Now we're heading. Now we're just heading back towards the art park, and stay tuned, because once again we got a little surprise for everyone. So stay tuned for that. All right, we're ready for the big surprise, but first,
It is finally time for John to write his 100th coaster credit.
100!
And you can all probably guess what it is, of course. Fury 325.
A lot of people say it's the best roller coaster in the world, or at least the best steel coaster.
So me and him both have been waiting years to ride this, and we're finally going to do it today.
Yeah.
So we'll see you when we get off, and we'll tell you how it was.
Okay. Wow. This is hands down. It's probably the best roller coaster I ever been on. Hands down. Done, dusted. It has lots of airtime. Its drop is just insane. Whereas positive, you sink down into your seats. It's just a jolt. Plus, there's a lot of really cool near misses.
Again, it is sorry. Like we said earlier after we got off, sorry Orion, Fury's king.
Yep. And that is totally true.
And that concludes, before we leave, we decided we were going to try the Enterprise here because I've never been on a Enterprise. Okay, so this concludes our first day at Carowinds. And so far we've had like a lot of fun, more than we were expecting in a big way.
Yeah. Well, we did not get any of the super bad roller coasters, like at Nighthawk, which I don't think that is, because we didn't see it run all day, and from what we can tell, it's getting repainted, so it might not be open at all while we're down here. So, and hopefully tomorrow we might be able to get a few more rides. Plus, being longer hours, you'll be able to get more rides in, as well as be able to try to get some night rides in on rides like Fury. So with that,
this is Andy the Gemini Man,
and on the Mr. Grider, and we will
see you tomorrow.
Next time.